My girlfriend told half our town I cheated on her. The woman I supposedly cheated with is my best friend's girlfriend, and the scene of the crime was a board game night at my parents' house with my dad and my 81-year-old grandfather in the room. I'm 27, Lauren is 28. We'd been together a little over a year, and until that Friday in September, I would have told anybody our relationship was normal. Dinner with each other's families, grocery shopping on Sundays, dumb arguments about whether she really had to be 20 minutes late to everything, or whether I really needed 3 kinds of hot sauce in the fridge. Nothing that made me think I was dating someone I needed to be careful around. I still live with my parents and my grandfather. Before anybody decides that's the actual problem here, it's not because I sit in a basement playing video games. My parents have a decent-sized house. Grandpa moved in after my grandmother died, and I've been saving for a down payment instead of handing half my paycheck to a landlord. I pay bills, I buy groceries, I drive Grandpa to physical therapy twice a week. It's not glamorous. It works. Lauren knew all of that from the first month. That Friday, I picked her up after work. We got burgers with her parents. Then I drove her home. She'd worked a 10-hour shift and kept rubbing her eyes in the passenger seat. I walked her to her door. She kissed me and said she was going straight to bed. I drove home. On the way, Josh texted the group chat. Josh has been my friend since 8th grade. Him and Sam wanted to play games, and they usually came to my house because my parents were weirdly cool about it as long as we kept the volume down. My mom liked knowing where I was. Grandpa liked wandering through the kitchen at midnight and asking who was winning. Josh said he'd been seeing a girl named Paige for about 6 weeks and asked if she could come. I said sure. That was it. That's the whole crime. I got home around 10, showered, put on sweatpants, and texted Lauren that I'd made it home. I also told her Josh and Sam were coming over for games and Josh was bringing Paige. She answered in under a minute. Have fun with your friends. Something about it sat wrong. Lauren used exclamation points. Lauren used heart emojis. That text read like it had been written by a customer service rep who hated me. I asked if everything was okay. Nothing. I'm tired. Then, don't worry about it. Which, as every person on earth knows, means worry about it. I called her. She let it ring twice, then sent me to voicemail. Josh and Sam pulled up a few minutes later. Paige was with them. She was quiet for about 10 minutes and then turned out to be the most competitive person in the room, which made Grandpa like her immediately. We played code names. Then Sam brought out a card game that took 15 minutes to explain and 30 seconds for Paige to destroy all of us at. My dad came downstairs at one point in his robe, looked at the table, and said, "Who's winning?" Paige said, "Me, by a lot." Dad nodded like she'd passed a test and went back upstairs. Nobody flirted. Nobody drank. Nobody was alone with anybody. Paige sat directly across from Josh the whole night and kept stealing his freeze. They left around 1. I checked my phone before bed. Lauren had read every single message I sent. She hadn't answered one of them. She texted at 10 the next morning. "We need to talk." I drove over thinking I'd missed something. Maybe she'd wanted an invitation. Maybe she felt left out because she'd gone home early. I was ready to apologize for that. I was ready to say I should have asked if she wanted to come back over after she rested. What I wasn't ready for was Lauren opening the door, folding her arms, and saying, "I don't know why you thought it was okay to have some girl you barely know at your house late at night." I actually thought I'd heard her wrong. Josh brought his date. I said, "It wasn't me and her." That doesn't make it better. My parents were home. My grandfather was home. Josh and Sam were there. We played board games. She stared at me. "You really don't see the problem." "Numb, I see that you're upset." "I don't understand why." Her face changed then. Not angry exactly, more like I'd failed a test she hadn't told me I was taking. "Ethan," she said, "you need to have boundaries with your friends." What boundary did I break? You shouldn't need me to explain why letting a random woman into your house at 10 at night is inappropriate when you have a girlfriend. Paige isn't random. I've met her twice. She came with Josh. You're missing the point. Then help me understand the point. She laughed once. It wasn't a happy sound. I shouldn't have to teach a grown man basic respect. That one landed harder than I expected. I asked her what she wanted me to do differently next time. I thought that was reasonable. If she'd said, "Tell me earlier," I'd have said okay. If she'd said, "I feel weird about people staying past midnight," I'd have talked about it. Instead, she said, "I don't know if I want to be with someone who makes me feel stupid for having standards." I sat on the edge of her couch with my keys still in my hand, trying to figure out how a card game had turned into this. "I never said you were stupid. You're acting like I'm crazy for being uncomfortable." "I'm not. I'm asking what you need." "I need you to stop acting like every boundary comes with a handbook." That was the first time she used the word. There was a candle on her coffee table that said "Breathe" on the label. She'd bought it at a farmer's market. I stared at that candle because I didn't know where else to look, and I thought maybe I really had messed up. Maybe this was one of those relationship rules everybody else already knew. Lauren had told me early on that an ex cheated on her. Not much detail, just that it started with a coworker and he lied to her for months. I knew that had wrecked her. I knew she had trust issues because of it, so I said, "I'm sorry I made you feel unsafe. I didn't mean to." Her eyes went watery immediately. "I don't want to control you," she said. "I just need to know I'm not going to be embarrassed." That should have been the moment, because I hadn't embarrassed her. Nobody knew about the board game night, except the 5 people who were in the room. I didn't notice. I held her hand and promised I'd be more considerate. Things were fine for about a week. Then the rules started showing up. They never arrived as rules. Lauren was too smart for that. They came as questions with guilt hiding underneath them. Why didn't you tell me Maya was going to be at trivia? Why do you need to text Paige directly when there's a group chat? Why did Sam's sister hug you when she saw you? Why do you have to stay out past 11 if I'm already home? The first few times I answered calmly. Maya was one of 6 people at trivia. Paige asked what time game night started. Sam's sister has known me since high school. I stayed out past 11 because the game ran long. Lauren would listen. She'd nod, she'd say she understood. Then 3 hours later I'd get, I just can't believe you don't understand why that would bother me. So I started taking pictures. Nothing dramatic. A shot of the table at the bar. A picture of the pizza. A group selfie if somebody else took one. I told myself it was easier than fighting. She seemed relieved at first. Then she wanted to know why I hadn't sent one sooner. One Saturday in early October, I was in the backyard helping my dad replace a broken fence panel. My phone was inside on the counter. When I came in 2 hours later, there were 8 messages. Are you okay? Why aren't you answering? I can see your location hasn't moved. Are you ignoring me? Please don't do this to me. I called her immediately. She picked up on the first ring, crying so hard I could barely make out words. I thought something happened, she said. I felt like a monster for being annoyed. I was in the yard with my dad, I said. I told you we were fixing the fence. You didn't tell me you'd disappear for 2 hours. I didn't disappear. There was a long silence. Then she said, you always make me sound unreasonable. I apologized again. And that became the pattern. Lauren got upset about something I hadn't known mattered. I explained. She said I was dismissing her feelings. I apologized for making her feel that way. She calmed down. 3 days later, there was a new thing. By the middle of October, I was checking my phone every 20 minutes. I turned on location sharing because she said it would help her relax. I told her when I went to the gym. I told her when I went to Kroger. I told her when Josh called. I caught myself hesitating before answering a message from Paige in the game group. And Paige was my best friend's girlfriend, and I had never once been alone in a room with her. I knew it was ridiculous. I also knew I didn't want another 3-hour conversation about how I'd made Lauren feel like she couldn't trust me. Then Paige disappeared, and it happened so quietly I almost missed it. Our group did a game night at somebody's house every month. Paige started coming regularly because she actually liked games, which annoyed Josh because she kept beating him. She'd also found a cabin near a state park for a long weekend in November. 6 of us were going, Josh and Paige, Sam and his girlfriend Monica, who teaches 3rd grade and has no patience for nonsense, me, and Derek, who has believed he can read a map since 2016 and has never once been correct. No couples trip, no secret getaway, 6 adults, a rental cabin, bad chili, a hike if the weather cooperated, and games until somebody got mad about Monopoly. Paige found the place. Paige made the payment chat and set up the Venmo schedule. Paige sent grocery lists and trail links. She was painfully organized, which is the only reason the trip was going to happen at all. Then Tuesday happened. I'm at work when Josh texts me separately. Hey, did Paige do something to you? I stare at it for a full minute before I answer. What? No. Why? He calls instead of typing. She said you blocked her. I didn't block Paige. She got a message from your number saying you thought it'd be better if you two didn't talk outside the group anymore. Then she got removed from the cabin chat. For a second I think he's messing with me. Then I open my phone. The cabin chat is gone. Not muted. Not buried. Gone. I search Paige's name and nothing comes up. My stomach drops so fast it actually hurts. Josh, I say slowly, send me a screenshot of that message. There's a pause on his end. Dude, did Lauren get into your phone? I want to say no. I want to be offended he even asked. But Lauren was at my house Sunday. I took a shower while she sat on my bed watching a show. My phone was charging on the nightstand. I never gave her my passcode. She's watched me type it 100 times. The screenshot comes through. Hey, I think it would be healthier if you and I kept things to group chats only. Lauren and I have been having problems because she feels like you're too involved in our relationship. Please respect that. I read it 3 times. It sounds almost like me. Almost, because I would never write that Paige is too involved in our relationship. Paige has never been anywhere near our relationship. Paige put our payment deadlines in a spreadsheet. I leave work early. I tell my manager it's a family emergency, which isn't exactly a lie. My girlfriend is starting to feel like one. She's at her apartment. She opens the door smiling, then sees my face. What happened? I hold up my phone. Why did you block Paige? The smile goes, and she doesn't deny it, which is somehow worse. I didn't block her, she says. I muted her. You sent her a message from my phone. You removed her from the cabin chat. I was trying to protect us. From what? She's Josh's girlfriend. She's always around you. She's around all of us. Lauren crosses her arms. You said you'd care about my feelings. Caring about your feelings doesn't mean you get to pretend to be me. Her eyes fill instantly. I knew you'd make me the bad guy. You went through my phone and messaged someone as me. Because you wouldn't set boundaries yourself. That sentence just sits there in her living room. I've spent 2 months trying to figure out what she means by boundaries. I've apologized. I've shared my location. I've sent photos and updates and explanations nobody asked me for. And she's standing here telling me all of it happened because I failed to control my friends hard enough. For the first time, I feel something other than guilt. I'm angry. You don't get to decide who I talk to. I say, I'm your girlfriend. That doesn't make you my manager. Her face goes completely still. I know right away I've said the wrong thing. Not wrong because it isn't true. Wrong because it's the first thing I've said in 2 months that wasn't designed to calm her down. Maybe you should go, she says. So I go. I sit in my car outside her building for 20 minutes before I can drive. When I get home, Grandpa is at the kitchen table eating cereal at 4 in the afternoon. He looks at my face and pushes the box toward me. Bad day, something like that. He nods. Cereal helps. It doesn't. I eat some anyway. She calls 14 times that night. I don't answer the first 3. Then the guilt gets me and I pick up the 4th. She's crying. I know I messed up, she says. I just panicked. I stand in the upstairs hallway so my parents can't hear. Why did you panic? Because I saw the cabin chat. Paige was sending you things. You were gonna spend a whole weekend with her. With 5 other people. Including her boyfriend. You keep saying that like it changes how it feels for me. Who should matter? Facts should matter. She goes quiet. Then, do you even want to be with me? I didn't have the word for it then, but that question is a trap with 2 doors. If I say yes, I have to prove it by accepting whatever comes next. If I say no, I'm the guy abandoning a crying woman over one mistake. I want to be with someone who trusts me, I say carefully. I do trust you. I just don't trust other women. I almost laugh. Not because it's funny. You don't even know Paige. Exactly. The next morning I go to work on 3 hours of sleep. By lunch, Lauren has sent me a 3-page text. It opens with an apology. In the middle she says she's embarrassed by what she did. At the end she says she needs a real commitment from me before we can move forward. She made a list. 5 items. No private messages with women unless they're family, co-workers, or partners of close friends. No women at my house after 9 without telling her first. No overnight trips where I'd be sharing a house with women. No hiding messages, locations, or plans. No making her feel like she's competing with anyone. I read it in the break room with a vending machine humming behind me. The part of me that still wanted peace thought, maybe some of this is fine. I don't have anything to hide. I'm not planning secret sleepovers. I can tell her about plans. Then I thought about Paige reading a message she believed came from me. I thought about Josh asking if I'd done something wrong. I thought about how Lauren hadn't sounded ashamed when she said she was protecting us. I wrote back, we can talk tonight. I'm not agreeing to a list over text. She replied with a hurt emoji and, thank you for not giving up on me. That made me feel worse instead of better. We meet at a coffee shop halfway between our places. I get there early because I need time to figure out what I'm gonna say. I have notes in my phone, which makes me feel pathetic, but I know if she cries, I'll forget every point I planned. She comes in wearing the gray sweater I once told her made her eyes look green. She looks nervous. There's makeup under her eyes like she didn't sleep either. And for a second I remember every good thing about her. She used to bring Grandpa blueberry muffins. She knew I hate pickles and always checked my order. She stayed up with me in the emergency room the night my dad had chest pain, even though it turned out to be acid reflux. I hate that those memories can make me doubt my own anger. She sits down and reaches for my hand. I don't move it away. I wish I could say I did. I'm sorry, she says. Really, I know going through your phone was wrong. And pretending to be me. Yes, that too. Why did you do it? She takes a breath. Because I see how easily you let people into your life and it scares me. Paige isn't trying to get into my life. She's dating Josh. You don't know what people want. You don't either. Her fingers tighten around mine. My ex started the same way. He told me not to worry about a co-worker. He said they were just friends. Then one day I found out I'd been stupid for months. Everybody saw it except me. I felt humiliated. I know that story. I've heard pieces before. But she's never looked at me like that while telling it. Her whole face is open and hurt. She sounds terrified, not calculating. I'm not him? I say. I know that. But sometimes my brain doesn't. That's the closest she's ever come to admitting she needs help. I tell her I understand being triggered. I tell her I'm willing to communicate better. I also tell her I won't agree to her managing my friendships or checking my phone. She nods fast, too fast, okay? No phone. No pretending to be you. I can do that. And the cabin trip. Her mouth tightens. I don't think I can handle you going. Why? Because Paige will be there. Lauren. I know how it sounds. I do. But you already made me feel stupid once for bringing this up. I don't want to spend a whole weekend wondering what's happening. You could come. She looks at me like I insulted her. Why would I want to sit in a cabin with the woman you've been defending for weeks? I haven't been defending Paige. I've been defending myself. Same thing. There it is again. No matter what I say, this story only has 2 parts. She's hurt. I'm hurting her. I tell her I already paid my share. I tell her it's a group trip. I tell her I'm not going to make Josh and Paige feel like criminals because she went into my phone. Lauren starts crying. People at the next table look over and I hate that I noticed, and I hate that part of me instantly wants to lower my voice and make it stop. So you're going to choose them, she says. I'm choosing not to cancel plans because you're uncomfortable with someone who hasn't done anything. That's the same thing. Nung. It isn't. She wipes her face. If you go, I don't know if I can be with you. I sit there a long time. Then I say, I'm not deciding our relationship over a cabin weekend. If you want to break up with me, that's your call. But I'm not going to keep proving I'm loyal by giving up people every time you get scared. She stares at me. I'm shaking under the table. I don't take it back. She leaves first. For 2 days she barely speaks to me. She doesn't say we're broken up. She doesn't say we're okay. She sends one-word answers to everything. Fine, busy, tired, whatever you want. I go to work. I go to the gym. I go home and act normal around my family. Thursday night, Josh asks if I want to come over and finalize the cabin plans. I almost say no, not because I don't want to go. Because I know what happens if Lauren sees my location at Josh's apartment. That thought bothers me enough that I go. Josh and Paige live in a 1-bedroom above a bakery. Sam and Monica are already there. The table is covered in trail maps, a snack list, and a board game box somebody's using as a coaster. Paige looks uncomfortable when she sees me. Hey, she says. Hey, I'm sorry. She nods, but she doesn't pretend it was nothing. I know you didn't send that message, she says. Josh showed me what happened, but it was still weird, Ethan. I thought you wanted me out of the group. I know. I should have protected you from that. You didn't do it. I let it get far enough that she thought she could. That part's on me. She looks at me for a second, then gives me a small smile. Okay, we can start there. It isn't forgiveness exactly. It's better than I've earned. We get through the trip plans. Nobody makes a thing out of Lauren, which I appreciate. Then, while Josh is arguing that we need 4 bags of marshmallows, Sam's phone rings. He looks at the screen and his face changes. It's my sister, he says, and walks into the hallway. He comes back frustrated. Everything okay, Monica asks. Sam sits down heavy. My sister's ex is texting her again. I know a little about it. Sam's younger sister Kelly dated a guy named Trevor for about a year. They broke up in the spring. Trevor did not take it well. What's he saying? Paige asks. Same stuff. That she owes him a conversation because he deserves closure. He keeps asking where she is. He saw a picture of her with coworkers and accused her of trying to make him jealous. Monica mutters something I don't catch. Sam rubs his forehead. She keeps saying maybe she should just meet him once so he calms down. No, Monica says immediately. Absolutely not. I know. I told her that. But she feels guilty because he keeps telling her she's being cruel. The room goes quiet. I don't know why that hits me as hard as it does. Maybe because I've spent a month feeling guilty every time Lauren was upset, even when I hadn't done anything. Maybe because I'd been telling myself that someone being afraid doesn't make their behavior okay, and I hadn't believed it until I heard it happening to somebody else. Paige says, did Kelly tell him not to contact her? Tweese, then that's the boundary. She said no. Him refusing to hear it isn't love. Sam looks at her. Yeah. Monica adds, a boundary isn't him deciding she has to meet him. It's her deciding what she'll do if he keeps contacting her. Nobody is talking about Lauren. Nobody has to. I sit there with a bag of pretzels in my lap and something in my head finally clicks into place. Lauren had every right to say, I'm not comfortable dating someone who takes overnight trips with women in the house. That would have been a choice. I might not have liked it, but it would have been honest. What she did instead was tell me I'd broken a rule she never gave me. Then she acted as me. Then she required me to hand over more and more of my life so she wouldn't have to feel uncomfortable. That's not a boundary. That's control. I drive home with my phone face down in the cup holder. When I pull into the driveway, I turn it over. 11 missed calls. And 1 text. I saw you were at Josh's. I hope Paige was worth it. I stare at it until the screen goes dark. Then I go inside and sit down at the kitchen table with my dad. He's paying bills. He look, sup, you okay? I almost say yes. Instead I say, I think my relationship might be bad. Dad puts his pen down. Okay, tell me about it. And for the first time, I do. I expect him to interrupt. I expect him to say she's just insecure, or that relationships take compromise, or that I shouldn't let one bad month ruin a good thing. He doesn't do any of that. I tell him about the board game night. The questions. The location sharing. The fence. The message to Paige. The list. I read him the text about Paige being worth it. He listens the whole way through without touching his phone. When I finish, he sits back. Does Lauren get upset when you tell her no? Wes, does she accept no? I open my mouth. Then I close it. Dad nods a little, like the silence answered him. Your mom and I have been married 30 years, he says. She has boundaries. I have boundaries. One of mine is nobody smokes in this house. One of hers is I don't go through her phone. Neither of us gets to invent a secret rule and then punish the other person for breaking it. I know that now. You know it in your head. Do you know it enough to act on it? That's the harder question. I stare at the table. I don't know. He reaches over and puts a hand on my shoulder. Then start by not giving her any more access to your phone. Change your password. Turn off your location. Tell the people she contacted what happened. You don't have to decide everything tonight. But stop making yourself smaller so somebody else can feel bigger. It's the kindest thing anyone has said to me in weeks. I change my passcode before bed. I turn off location sharing. I log out of my accounts on every device except my phone and laptop. It feels dramatic, which embarrasses me. Then I remember Paige's face when she thought I'd cut her off. I do it anyway. Lauren calls at 8 the next morning. Why did you turn your location off, she says, before I can even say hello. No good morning. No how are you? Just that. Because I don't want to share it right now. Are you punishing me? No, I'm taking space. She's quiet so long I think the call dropped. Then you talked to someone. I talked to my dad. Of course you did. What does that mean? It means you're making me look like a monster to your family. I told him what happened. Your father hates me. He doesn't hate you. He barely knows you. Exactly. And now he's judging me based on your version. I feel the old reflex come up. Explain, soften it. Tell her dad didn't mean anything. Tell her I know she's hurting too. Instead I say, it's my version because it happened to me. She takes a sharp breath. I can't talk to you when you're being like this. Then she hangs up. I spend the rest of the day waiting for the panic to hit. It doesn't. I feel sad. I feel tired. But underneath all of it there's this strange little pocket in my chest where I can breathe. That evening she texts me a photo of a notebook page. At the top in neat handwriting, it says things I need to work on. The list is trusting me, not checking my phone, communicating directly, finding a therapist. I look at it for a long time. Then she writes, can we please talk in person? I don't want to lose you over this. We meet the next day at a diner near my office. I picked it because it's public and because I know the waitress, a woman named Dee who has worked there since I was in high school. That detail felt ridiculous too. But once you start noticing things, you can't stop. Lauren is already in a booth. She looks small in a way I've never seen. Hair pulled back, no makeup, a cup of coffee in front of her that's gone cold. Thank you for coming, she says. I sit across from her. She apologizes again, and this time it sounds real. She says she called a counseling office and has an intake appointment. She says she didn't realize how much her ex had shaped the way she reacts. She says she's been acting out of fear. I don't want to be your prison, she says, crying quietly. I don't want you to feel like you can't have friends. I want to believe her so badly it's physical. That's the part nobody tells you. It's easy to say leave when you're reading somebody else's story. It's harder when the person across the table is the one who sat with you in the emergency room. The one who knows how you take your coffee. The one who kissed your grandfather on the forehead and called him sir even after he told her to stop. I need things to change, I say. They will? No location. No passwords. No contacting my friends. No punishing me for plans you don't like. She nods after each one, and I'm still going on the cabin trip. Her eyes close. For a second I think the whole conversation is over. Then she opens them. Okay. I don't like it, she says, but I can't tell you I'm changing and then hand you another ultimatum. It's exactly what I needed to hear. I reach across the table and take her hand. That's my second mistake. The cabin trip is 2 weeks later. First night, nothing happens. Second night, nothing happens. The whole weekend is aggressively boring in the best possible way. We make chili. We get lost on a trail because Derek insists he can read a map. We play Betrayal at House on the Hill until Monica accuses Josh of cheating because he keeps drawing exactly the card he needs. Paige and I barely talk alone, because there's no reason to. We talk about game rules and groceries and whether the hot tub looks clean enough to get into without catching something. Sunday morning she pulls me aside on the porch while everybody else argues about breakfast. How's Lauren? I almost say fine. Then I remember what my dad said about making myself smaller. We're trying to work through some things. Paige nods. Okay, just be careful. I know. Do you? I look out at the trees, more than I did. That seems to satisfy her. Lauren texts me good morning each day. She asks how the trip is. I answer honestly. I send one group picture from the trail, not because she demanded it, but because I want to show her what I'm doing. She writes back, looks fun. I'm glad you're having a good time. For 2 days I think we made it through. Fromford and I get home Sunday evening and my mom has made lasagna. Lauren comes over an hour later with a bag of cookies and hugs me so hard I can't breathe. I missed you, she whispers. I missed you too. For 2 days I think we made it through. Then Monica calls me at work. I almost let it ring because I'm in a meeting. Something tells me to pick up. Hey, I say, stepping into the hallway. Everything okay? I need to ask you something and I don't want you to freak out. Nobody has ever said that before something good. Okay. Did you and Paige hook up at the cabin? For a second I genuinely cannot make sound come out. What? I know you didn't. I know you didn't. But a friend of Lauren's messaged me. She said Lauren is really upset because you told her you kissed Paige after everyone went to sleep. My whole body goes cold. I never said that. I never kissed Paige, I figured. Josh is furious. Paige is crying. She feels like she's being dragged into something she has nothing to do with. I lean against the wall. Who told you? A woman named Brianna. She used to work with Lauren. She knows me from yoga and she sent me screenshots because she said she didn't know what was true. Send them to me. Yeah, Ethan. Are you safe? The question surprises me so much I almost laugh. I'm at work. I don't mean physically. I look through the glass wall into the conference room. My coworkers are still talking about numbers and deadlines. The normal world is moving along while mine has turned into a rumor nobody bothered to tell me about. I don't know, I say. The screenshots come through 5 minutes later. It's a group chat with Lauren, Brianna, and 2 other women. Lauren wrote that she was trying to stay calm because I'd gone away for the weekend with, quote, the girl from board game night. She said I'd admitted things felt different with Paige. She said she was scared I'd crossed a line but didn't want to look controlling by asking questions. Then later, he told me they kissed. I don't know what to do. There are dozens of messages after that. Her friends tell her she deserves better. One says I'm obviously gaslighting her. Another says no loyal boyfriend would share a cabin with a woman his girlfriend already said made her uncomfortable. Lauren keeps replying that Sheba Plain doesn't want to ruin my friendships, that she's trying to be the bigger person, that she's heartbroken but still loves me. I read all of it standing in the bathroom at work with my hand over my mouth. The worst part isn't that she lied. The worst part is how carefully she wrote it. She never said, I want everyone to hate Ethan. She never said, I'm gonna make him look guilty. She just built a version of events where she was a quiet, wounded girlfriend and I was a man slowly revealing who he really is. By the time I call her, my hands are shaking. She answers sweetly, hey, babe, why did you tell people I kissed Paige? Silence. Then, who told you that? So you did. Ethan, I was upset. I was venting you told people I cheated on you. I said I thought you might have. You said I admitted it. Because you acted guilty. I acted guilty because you spent 2 months making me feel guilty for standing near women. Her breathing changes. You're twisting this.
No, I'm reading your messages.
You don't know what it's like to be humiliated by someone you love. I'm being humiliated right now. Because you made me feel unsafe. There it is. Different event. Same answer. Always the same answer. I tell her I need space. She cries and says I'm abandoning her. I repeat that I need space. She says she has a therapy appointment next week and I'm punishing her for trying. I hang up anyway. That night Josh comes over without asking. He brings Paige. I'm grateful for it and I have no idea how to say so without sounding strange. We sit around the kitchen table while my parents pretend not to listen from the living room. Paige looks exhausted. I need you to know I don't blame you. I say. I know, she says. But I don't want to be part of this anymore. You shouldn't have to be. Josh and I are taking a break from the group for a while. Not because of you. I just don't want to wonder if somebody's gonna say something about me every time I leave the house. That hurts. It should. Lauren didn't just hurt me. She made normal people back away from each other because being close to me had become a liability. Josh puts his hand on Paige's back. We'll be okay, he tells me. But you need to decide if you're okay with this, because it's not gonna get better if she thinks it works. After they leave, I sit in the dark living room with my dad. I think I have to end it. Dad nods. I think you do too. My phone buzzes on the coffee table. It's a message request on Instagram from someone named Dylan Carter. I almost ignore it. Then I read the first line. I dated Lauren before you. I think you should read this. My stomach drops again. The message is long. Dylan says a mutual friend sent him one of Lauren's vague posts. He says he hadn't planned to contact me. He says he knows exactly how it looks. But when he heard she was telling people I'd cheated with a woman from a friend group, he recognized the shape of it. Lauren told me Dylan cheated on her with a coworker. According to Dylan, that isn't what happened. They dated almost 2 years. At first she wanted constant reassurance. Then she wanted his passcode. Then she wanted him to stop having lunch with a female coworker, because Lauren said the woman was flirting with him. Then she didn't like his male friends, because they encouraged him to go out without her. Then she had a problem with his sister, because his sister called him too often. He kept giving things up, because every single time, Lauren promised that would finally be the thing that made her feel secure. It never was. Eventually he told her he needed a break. During that break he went out for drinks with coworkers. One of them was a woman. Lauren found out from a photo somebody posted, and she told everyone he'd been cheating for months. He sends screenshots. I don't know this guy. I have no reason to trust him. But the messages are painfully familiar. The same phrases. You should have known better. If you loved me, you wouldn't make me explain. I feel stupid because of you. You're making me look crazy for having standards. And then one message from Lauren to Dylan, dated 3 years before she ever met me. You always make me sound unreasonable. Word for word, the exact sentence she sent me after the fence. I read it until my eyes blur. Dylan's last line says, I'm not telling you this because I want revenge. I have a wife now, I have a kid. I just wish somebody had told me I wasn't the only person she did this to. I write back, thank you. Then I put my phone down and stare at the wall for a long time. I should feel relieved. I feel sick instead, because some part of me still believed that if I found the right words, if I was patient enough, if I loved her correctly, she'd stop treating me like a threat. I hadn't failed an impossible test. There had never been a test I could pass. I asked her to meet me the next afternoon. I don't mention Dylan over text. I don't want a 6-hour argument built out of screenshots and typing bubbles. I also don't want her at my house. My mom suggested somewhere public, and for once I take advice without pretending I don't need it. We meet at the same diner, where she promised things would change. She's already there. She looks nervous but not devastated. I think she believes I asked her here to forgive her. A week earlier, maybe I would have. She smiles when I slide into the booth. I brought you something, she says, pushing a small paper bag across the table. Your favorite SAR candies. I look at the bag, then at her. Thank you, I say. But I don't think we should be together anymore. The smile goes. For a few seconds she says nothing, then she starts crying, not loud, just tears running down her face while she shakes her head. You can't mean that, she whispers. I do, because I made one mistake? This isn't one mistake. I said I was sorry for the phone. I said I was sorry for the messages. I'm getting help. You told people I kissed Paige. I was scared. You removed someone from my life without telling me. You tracked where I was. You made me afraid to see my friends. I never made you afraid. I was afraid of upsetting you every time I walked out my front door. Her face hardens. So now I'm abusive. Is that what your dad told you? My dad didn't tell me what to call it. Of course he didn't. He just made you think it. I take Ellen contacted me. Everything changes. She stops crying so fast it's almost frightening. Dylan. Weiss? His lying? Maybe, but your messages aren't. I put my phone on the table and show her one screenshot. Not all of them. I'm not interested in making her relive every word. I only need her to know that. I know. She looks at the screen, her lips pressed together. You don't know what he did to me. Then tell me. I don't have to defend myself to you. No. You don't, and I don't have to stay. That's when the anger comes out. She shoves her coffee away hard enough that it sloshes over the rim. You think you're so perfect, she says. You let everybody tell you who I am, and you don't even care that I'm sitting here begging you not to leave. I care? No, you don't. If you cared, you'd fight for us. I've been fighting for us for months. I've been apologizing for things I didn't do. I've been proving things that didn't need proof. I'm done. She stares at me. I feel terrible and I feel certain, and it turns out those two things can sit in the same chest at the same time. She tries one more time. If you walk away from me now, I don't know what I'll do. I hate that sentence. I hate how hard it pulls on the part of me that wants to rescue people. I keep my voice level. If you feel unsafe, call your family or a therapist or someone you trust. But I can't be the person who stays because you threaten to fall apart. She looks at me like I slapped her. Then she stands up, grabs her purse, and walks out of the diner. I sit there another 10 minutes because my legs don't feel real. Dee brings me a fresh coffee without being asked. Rough day. Rough year. She gives me a small sad smile. Those are the ones that change you. I block Lauren's number when I get home. I block her on Instagram, Facebook, and every app I can think of. Before that, I send one message to Brianna. Lauren and I are no longer together. I'm not going to discuss private details, but the story about Paige is not true. Please don't contact my friends about it again. Brianna replies in under a minute. I believe you. I should have asked more questions, I'm sorry. Over the next 2 days, a few people reach out. Some apologize. Some don't. I don't chase anybody. I've spent too long trying to manage what people think of me. Josh and Paige come by that Saturday with takeout. Sam and Monica show up later. It's awkward at first. Everybody keeps looking at me like I might crack. Then Grandpa walks into the kitchen, sees all the boxes, and says, "Are we having a meeting or are we eating?" That takes care of the tension. By the end of the night, Josh and Paige are arguing about whether Monopoly should be banned permanently. Sam is trying to explain a new game. My mom keeps bringing out snacks nobody asked for. I laugh once. A real one. It surprises me enough that I almost stop. Then my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I know you blocked me, but this is Lauren. We need to talk. I don't reply. A minute later, another one. You can't throw away a year because your friends hate me. Then, you told them things about me. You made me look crazy. I put the phone face down on the counter. Dad sees it. Everything okay? No, but it will be. She comes to the house the next morning. I see her car from the upstairs window. My first reaction is panic. My second is shame for feeling panic. My third is anger that she's managed to make me feel both before I've had coffee. She's standing at the end of the driveway with a tote bag on her shoulder. I can see what's in it from up there. A hoodie. A framed picture from our first trip to the lake. A stuffed bear I won at a carnival for $4.11 attempts. She rings the bell. Dad is already coming down the stairs. Do you want me to handle it? I almost say yes. Then I shake my head. Just stay here. I open the door, but I don't step outside. She looks exhausted. Her eyes are swollen. For one dangerous second, I feel the old need to fix how she feels. Then she holds out the bag. I brought your stuff. Okay, thank you. She doesn't hand it over. Can we just talk for 5 minutes? No. Her face crumples. Ethan, please. I said what I needed to say. I know I screwed up. I know I did. But I loved you. I still love you. I believe you think you do. She flinches. What does that mean? I look at the tote bag, then back at her. It means love isn't making someone explain where they are every hour. It isn't cutting people out of their life. It isn't telling strangers they cheated when they didn't. You're making me sound horrible. No, I'm saying what happened. Neither of us talks for a second. Then she looks past me and sees Dad standing in the hallway, and her expression changes again. You need your dad to protect you now. I could argue. I could say it's his house too. I could remind her I spent a year handling all of this alone. Instead I say, yes, I have people who care about me. That's the first thing I've said that seems to actually reach her. Not because she understands it. I don't think she does. But because she finally sees she can't make me feel alone anymore, she sets the bag down on the porch. I hope you're happy, she says. I hope you get help. Then I close the door. I stand there with my hand on the lock until I hear her car pull away. That was 3 months ago. Lauren hasn't contacted me since that morning. Brianna reached out once to tell me Lauren has started saying we broke up because we were incompatible, which is probably as close to the truth as she can get. Josh and Paige are still together. They came back to game nights after about 3 weeks. Paige still wins more than anybody else. Sam still brings games that take 20 minutes to explain. Grandpa still appears halfway through and asks why nobody plays cards like a normal person. I still live with my parents. I'm still saving for a down payment, and I'm closer than I was. I still text somebody when I get home safe, but now I do it because I want to, not because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't. Last Friday, almost exactly 4 months after the board game night that supposedly started all of this, Josh texted the group. James at Ethan's. Paige replied, only if Grandpa is there. I need to defend my title, Sam said. I'm bringing the new game. Monica wrote, no Monopoly. I looked at those messages for a minute, then I typed, come over whenever. Door will be open. That night, I put my phone on the kitchen counter and forgot about it for almost 3 hours. Nobody got mad. Nobody demanded a picture. Nobody made me guess what rule I was about to break. My dad came downstairs in his robe around midnight, looked at the table and said, who's winning? Paige said, me. By a lot.